All right, everybody. This is Nash, and today I'm going to be sharing my Texas versus TCU post-game thoughts. I know I'm late on it, but just hear me out. We'll get to that in a second. Also, Steve Sarkisian. We're going to be talking about some red flags that we've seen so far. We will be mentioning some positives because there are some positives that need to be brought up, I think. And then, as well as by far the most interesting, today I got the Xavier Worthy and Quinn Ewers, specifically just those two. The deep ball connection. When I say deep ball, I'm not talking 20 plus. I'm talking 30 plus yard targets. It's not good. But without further ado, let's get right into the video. Don't forget to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below on all three of these. I've heard a lot of y'all's stuff on TCU, but if you haven't shared anything with me on TCU, I'd love to hear it. Let me know what your thoughts are on Steve Sarkisian. I'm not trying to be an Aggie here. Being an Aggie would just be ignoring stuff and not mentioning it at all. And then let me know your thoughts on the Quinn Ewers stuff as well. But don't forget to also, down there, you can find a link to Underdog Fantasy Football. They got a bunch of cool prop bets for this weekend. This one, Bijan Robinson, 20.5 receiving yards. I'm hammering the over. He has not hit that twice this year. One time was versus TCU. The second time was Alabama. He had 19 yards. He didn't have a single target. We'll get to that in just a second, but not a single target versus TCU. But I expect him to hit the over on that one, and I'm hammering that all day long. But without further ado, let's hop right into it. And we're going to start off with the TCU one. A great start to spot is that the Bijan Robinson not having a single target. And this is why, I said why I hadn't, because I've been getting real hot every single time, even if I'm not even on the camera. But I'm having to really try and suppress myself but at this point, I'm not mad. I'm just, and it's not even sad. It's just pain, just genuine pain. Like my dad said it best, it feels like we've been cheated on. You know, you're not even mad anymore. You know, you're just upset, and it bothers us as Texas fans, the fact that if it's one thing, it's not another. If it's not one thing, it's another. And I referenced multiple times in the past weeks that Texas is like a rocket ship that's about to launch. And yet another delayed launch. And it's just, this was a big weekend for us, and we couldn't drive it home. And when I say we, I'm going to say we because I say we when stuff goes good, so I'll say we when stuff goes bad. But that defense, man, they deserve better. And this is some of my biggest issues with the TCU game. What are you telling Jahdae Barron? What are you telling Keandre Coburn? What are you telling T'Vondre Sweat? What are you telling Jalen Ford for their efforts? What are you telling Terrence Brooks? Huh? You've just told them, hey, look, great, love your effort, love it, don't care. Quinn's development is more important. Who cares about the win? We don't care how many blocks you've gone through, Jahdae. How many times you've gone through and blown up a screen in the backfield to keep our defense off the field and try and give our offense another chance to get some momentum going, something. You don't care. He didn't care. And that's by far that's the most disturbing thing to me, is the fact that one person on the field was put before all the 22 players. Because you cannot look me dead in the eyes and tell me when Quinn was when he was 0 for 9, he was 1 for 10. His first completion was a screen pass behind the line of scrimmage. Like, he did not have it on Saturday. He didn't. So, and the fact that I think this is the second time he's mentioned, oh, well, we thought about putting Hudson in, but it was too late. Come on, man. I'm not buying that anymore. I've been a long time saying I love Sark in the press conferences, but come on, man. No. Don't shove me crap. And I'm bothered that Carr didn't even get a chance. Not one drive, not one series, nothing. Nothing to get a jump start. anything like that. And then another thing in the TCU game was Bijan's carries. Only had 12 carries, and Sark tried to defend it, saying, are y'all going to give Bijan's hammer him that? You don't have to hammer him that many times. But even with those 12 carries, the biggest issue that I took in that is they were so spread out. This is the first time I've ever seen Bijan have his carries so spread out. The last time I saw that was like Iowa State. And it was far worse than it was versus TCU. So I'm not trying to insinuate that TCU was like the first time that we've ever seen. I'm saying it's the first time since Iowa State that Bijan Robinson has not consistently just gotten the ball. And as a running back, developing rhythm is very important. Getting those carries is very important to getting a feel for the defense, because a guy like Bijan Robinson, a guy like Kendre Miller, as we just saw, versus our very good Texas defense against the run, all it takes is one carry. One carry, and they're gone to the house. And it bothers me. And so there's some of the red flags, and that goes into some of the red flags that we were talking about. Another red flag is Steven from Fanatic Perspective mentioned it great. He mentioned it in real time. Boom, boom, boom. Why are we going for a block punt when their punter is nearly punting out of their end zone? Xavier Worthy's sitting on the 40-yard line, just beyond the 50. So we're going to get the ball in great field position. Down 7. Great field position. What do? We go send the dogs after a guy who's been flopping all night long. It's obvious, painfully. They get a free first down. We didn't touch him. Who cares? It's about situational awareness, and we got out-chest matched. We got out-chest. Plain and simple. That's what happened right there. That's coaching. And then the thing that just blew my mind and bothered me more than anything else was, of all the times to call off the dogs when you could have done it then, the next time they're punting, we call off the dogs. We don't go out. Well, now Sark, we need that. And then also, I'll even add that punt block, that we ran into the punter. That was the drive where Quentin Johnston got left wide open. A rare blow by Anthony Cook. I'm overlooking that every single day of the week because he doesn't do that often. But rare miscommunication. Nobody's covering Quentin Johnston. They score. They go up more. These are obvious red flags. Now, talk about some positives. Steve Sarkisian, when everybody on message boards, Twitter, everywhere, my comment sections, anything, PK, fire PK, get rid of PK, PK's done a damn good job. And I'm very happy because to me it was a big deal. I was very happy about the continuity of this coaching staff. And I'm glad Sark has stood by his guns. And then also when he's had to go and replace a guy like Stan Drayton, it's hard to be the guy after the guy. Tashard Joyce has done a pretty good job. Now I do want to see Brennan Marion step up with, like, the wide receivers have seemed to be lackluster this year. But the one area you cannot deny that the wide receivers have improved or just been just standouts on has been blocking. And it's been not just one guy, Jordan. That is the entire group overall. It's been a great job. But so kind of transition from these red flags into the numbers, and that I was mentioning earlier, that kind of the meat and bones on the video. The percent of passes attempted over 20 yards in Sark's offenses the last 4 years. And you've seen this go up every year. Now, the problem with this is the number that I'm about to tell you. When you see 20.38%, why? Why are we attempting that many deep passes when we've only completed one 1 of 21 on the year. 4.7%. 0.7%. Yes, that is a single digit. It is bad. And I'm wearing the Steve Sarkisian signed all gas no brakes hat to show support because I don't want to don't get it twisted. I'm still a believer in Sark. I really am. But the deep ball has not been connecting at all. And then you go to just Xavier Worthy overall. It's 4 of 31 on the year. And if you were to count, there's a second throw I could see you saying, hey, well, what about the pass interference in the Oklahoma game? Xavier would have caught that. If we just let's assume on the 4.7% catch rate on these 30-plus yard targets that Xavier Worthy is going to catch this ball. Okay, let's assume that. Well, the DPI, let's count that as a catch. He's 2 for 22. It's, wow, just under 10%. Bravo. And I'm not trying to be really snarky or anything. I'm just saying, why are we attempting so many deep passes when it isn't working? And this is where you're wasting Xavier Worthy. You're wasting him on those routes. Because Brennan Thompson can get open just as Xavier Worthy can. And Xavier Worthy can get open on lower routes in ways that Brennan Thompson or other guys cannot. Xavier Worthy has special abilities that other guys just don't have. And the fact that we're not using them on these intermediate routes, these cuts, his route running, everything. The dude gets separation and he gets open. And we're wasting it on these deep balls. And Xavier Worthy, he's not free of any criticism himself. It looks like there's obvious effort at times where it looks like, hey, if the ball is not perfectly thrown on his line, you might as well write it off. It's sad at this point. I've already done this. I joke about it with people, but it's real life. It's actually true. It's a joke. It's half joke, but it's based in truth. When the ball gets thrown in the air, a deep pass, I'm already on the next play. I'm already saying incompletion. Okay, what are we doing on 3rd and 6? What are we doing on 3rd and 10? Or what are we doing on whatever the next situation is, I'm already starting to think about what is Texas going to do for that. Because I have that little faith in us hitting the deep ball. Again, the last time that we've hit the deep ball, 1 of 21 to Xavier Worthy from Quinn Ewers, was Alabama. The last time we've seen a deep ball completed was a West Virginia tip ball, and Xavier Worthy caught in the end zone. Now, he did also catch another one earlier, and those two were from Hudson Card. But in one game, two passes, that's more than Quinn Ewers has had the entire season. This is, it's got to get better, but hammering in going back to this right after saying that, it's like you got a square peg, here's a round hole, and I'm just going to try and jam it in there. I'm going to jam it as many times, and I'm just going to make it fit. That's what that feels like. There's red flags. I'm still a believer in Sark. And I think he's our guy. I think no matter what, he's going to have at least 1 year in the SEC. Unless we have just some horrific season with 0 to 4 wins, something bad. Other than that, I think he's our guy. I still have faith in him. He's been rebuilding the roster. Don't forget, this roster was people were starting to say, oh, I wish we'd Tom. No, you don't. You don't wish you had that lack of development. You don't wish you had a guy that only recruited wide receivers and defensive backs. Let's not forget the entire reason why we didn't have a spring game in the sense of a real spring game was because of the lack of offensive line that Tom Herman left on this roster. We just had a huge offensive line pull, but most of those guys came in not the fall, but the summer. So we didn't have those guys in the spring. Yeah, I'm happy with Sark. All right, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed the video. I will have the Kansas preview tomorrow. a little spoiler, I'm not feeling good on it. But, all right, everybody. Hope you all have a great day. Hook 'em.